So hello, my name is Kelly. This is my presentation for the Great Locomotive Western Script storyboard pitch for Project 1. So the script overview. When I first got this project, I read through the Great Locomotive script a couple of times, and I created a draft of the shot list for my own reference, which was essentially used for a personal shot list for my photo shoot, which I did kind of as my second step in progress. So this is that list. You can kind of pause it here if you want to read through some of this, but it was basically just for my own reference and helped me understand what the photographs were going to look like for my thumbnails. So when I was choosing my materials and my medium, I had to experiment a lot because I knew that I wanted to use photography, but I did not know how I would adjust those photographs to make them work for this project. And so, as you can see in the photograph, I tried a little bit of sketching with some pencils. I grabbed some photos from online to use as reference. I tried some paint over the photographs, and something that is not pictured is I cut them out, I used color-aid paper, I did a few different things, but because of quarantine I knew that I wouldn't be able to do like a full photo shoot with all of the resources that I had. So I also did research. These are two collage art pieces that I found on Behance. So the first one is about coronavirus, and I just found the collage style really interesting, and same thing with the other photograph. So the photos that were my 24 thumbnails, this is the Google Photos link, but I took about 100 photos because I took multiples of each scene to make sure that I had everything that I wanted. So that was kind of how my progress worked for Progress 1. So once I had the photographs, I cut some of them out physically with an X-Acto knife once I printed them, and then I cut some of them out on Photoshop and placed them into the storyboard template. And this is kind of the result of that. So that was kind of step one for creating the comps. And then at first I tried some color-aid paper, which created a very nice mixed medium look with the graphic, almost animated background in the back. And this is just a super rough version of one of the first ones that I created. But ultimately I decided that that was not going to work for this project because it did not incorporate elements of linear perspective that I needed. So starting out with the comps, here are the first two that I did. So my thematic synopsis for all three of them is greed and corruption. And so the first one that you see is scene 19, shot number 1. And this is when Casey is running away. He's free after the explosion. So you can see the camera direction arrow is kind of going down and up, and I wanted to have sort of a pan from below Casey to up to his face, and so I skewed the photograph to make his head look bigger than his body. And in the second comp here, this is scene 1, shot number 1, when there's the montage and the robber is pointing a gun at John's head and holding the money bag. So the background that they're in right now is the train. So I used colored pencils to kind of depict that and depict the lighting that was coming through the two doors of the train and where that directionally would go. And then again with this shot, the camera is kind of starting at a lower angle, so their legs look a little bit bigger than their bodies, and I skewed that in Photoshop as well. And then for the last comp, this is scene 15, shot number 2, when the robber is going around the train getting the jewelry and money from all the passengers. And so again, I skewed the photographs to make the passenger look a little bit bigger than the robber, because that's where the camera would be focusing, and it would be coming from a lower angle and going up to get that emotional reaction from their face. And the color pencils here, a little bit sloppy, but it's basically just rows of seats on the train.